We're going to show this iPad of
Evil Squid Comics Podcast, episode 28. I think that's what I said, 28?
28.
I'm Drew.
I'm Don.
I'm Scott.
And tonight we also have... Matt. Matt is here. Special guest Matt.
I just got a
sort of in the house.
It's like a throwback.
I just got a
used to do the
Facebook
podcast.
notification that Evil Squid Podcast is live now.
It is live, so you should watch it.
Episode 28.
Do I even need to talk about this at all?
I'll
I probably don't because you like.
Not unless you want me to.
Don can leave the room because Matt and I want to talk about it.
Do you?
Jesus. I only got 10.
What are we going to talk about?
Invincible hardcover 12.
Oh, exciting. Oh, wait, which one are you on, Don?
I just finished 10.
I don't even remember what happened that long ago.
And he was
2 years ago.
And he said he was confused by it. I'm like, how can you be confused by Invincible? It's so clear.
I was. Okay.
No, wait, is 10 the one where Conquest comes back and kills everybody?
I don't think so.
you just
that must be 11.
That must be the next one.
There's a big fight between that tiger-looking
Thrag
dude
and Battle Beast.
And Battle Beast that goes for like, I don't know, 12 issues.
Oh, that's a good fight.
Oh, it's so good.
Okay, so you haven't gotten to the part where Thrag gets split in half by Omni-Man.
I don't think so.
Okay.
This one they leave Earth because the robot guy
takes over.
And so they leave Earth and they go to live at the planet with the Cyclops. What's his name? The guy with
Alan.
the one. Yeah.
Oh, Alan the Alien.
Yes.
Yeah. So
it's not. You haven't got to the part where Alan the Alien betrays everybody and takes over the universe.
I'm not. I did get to the part though where God, what's his name? The main guy. No.
Incredible.
Invincible.
Mark
Grayson?
Yeah. Yes, Mark.
Not Dick Grayson.
Not Dick Grayson. Where
that's Nightwing.
His brother brings his girlfriend over, and she's like that alien, and then he eats all that food, and then you get like him sitting on the toilet.
Oh yeah, that's always nice.
Because he
had the alien food.
He had the alien food, but it wasn't really the alien food. It was the way she cooked it, apparently.
Oh, of course.
And then their daughter almost dies because.
You would think if you have superpowers and you can like. Be
Process,
disemboweled and you heal from it, that you could pretty much do anything.
That whole fight is just insane.
You should put it in front of the...
Between Thrag and Battle Beast?
Thrag and Battle Beast, yeah, that is like
pretty
great.
Violent.
That whole battle that just goes on through the whole thing. Okay, so what I was confused about is at the very beginning of this book, he went... I don't even remember. Mark, he was on that other... planet or something, and he comes back through the dimension, and then he's working with the dude that looks like he's from Akira, like in a test tube, like the old
robot.
And he tells him that he can transfer him into a body, and it's like a invincible body.
Yeah.
And then Mark disappears, and I thought it was the robot guy in the invincible body, like as Mark now. Like they switch places.
Oh yeah. So the whole rest of the series is the robot guy in Mark's body.
Yeah.
I don't think that's right.
Okay, that's not what happened.
Okay, can you explain it? Because you only read not that many comics. I read too many comics to remember these details.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
Matt?
I know what he's talking about.
It's at the very beginning.
Well, all right, let me bust out my hardcover 10 so I can figure. Okay, so
right. So at the end
robot is the glob in the test tube, and then there's like all the infinite marks and
right. And at the end of 9, the end of the 9 hardcover, his head gets like squashed. Mark.
Yeah.
Mark's head gets squashed, and you think he's dead.
Right, but they switched on his body at the last second.
Yes.
Okay.
They wanted to make you think that he was dead and he didn't die. That was all a ruse.
Which was kind of cheesy, I thought.
Oh, I thought it was... Yeah, I didn't know that.
Kirkland kind of pulled a fast one.
Yeah, he did.
Not in a good way.
Well, you had infinite marks to choose from, right? So it seemed inevitable they weren't going to kill the main one.
Right. So yeah, I was a little confused at the beginning, but
I actually don't have much to talk about this week.
I don't either, because I didn't have a lot of time to read.
I thought you were reading a ton of stuff. You read 2 Invincible hardcovers.
I read 1.
This one in particular, what is it? Number 10 is the one where Mark gets raped.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and then he can't have sex with, what's her name?
Eve.
Until he breaks down and tells her about it eventually.
Although this is the cool one where Eve gets her leg ripped off.
Yeah,
that
was awesome.
Just so freaking cool.
Was anybody else really bothered by how Mark handled the rape?
Not really. That seems legit, right? Not that I've been raped.
I don't... Like, what do you mean how he handled it? Like, the actual event or the aftermath of it?
So, I don't know, like, at this point, Mark has sort of taken on everything, even outside of Earth, right? Like, he's battled everything, he's fought crazy things, like, he's done all this stuff. It seems strange to me that, A, he would just get manhandled like that. And I don't mean that in, like, a sexist way, that's just the terminology, right? But then, I don't know, like, he just seemed sort of squirrely about it through the rest of the book. And I don't know, it just...
When he finally tells Eve about it, he said that there must have been some part of him deep down that wanted it to happen, and that's why he let it happen. And that's why he couldn't tell her, because he was confused whether, you know what I mean? Do you remember that? Like when he finally tells Eve what happened, he's like, he's like, I didn't want to tell you because how could I not want it to happen on some level for it to have happened? And then,
or he would have clearly fought, right?
Right. And he's like, that's what I'm struggling with. Like, did I really want it to happen, or do I still love you, or whatever? And that's why I think he was thrown by it.
So I'll skip ahead a little bit, right? Just without spoiling anything. But there was a point in the series a little while ago. I forget exactly which book it was in, but you know, Mark seemed to have like he hit a maturation point. He sort of had an epiphany, and he started to kind of reason things out a little bit. I guess just a little bit more maturely and a little more intelligently. So like the whole thing with Dinosaurus, right? Like, you know, the fact that he started to get the idea that like people could be redeemed, and like sometimes somebody's doing something bad, but they're doing it for the right reasons, and if you just kind of work through it, maybe there's something good there. So like for the character to have sort of matured to a certain point, and then a lot of the character thread that happened after the rape incident, he kind of devolved a little bit as a character, and I was really confused by why this one particular thing was just something that he couldn't be mature about, where he could be seemingly mature about everything else.
Right.
Well, I think there's too many emotions wrapped up in it, right? I mean, I think that's a problem with that crime and the victims of that crime, is that there's just so much conflict and emotion wrapped up in it that it's hard to deal with. You know what I mean?
Me. I'm not discounting that, because obviously it's never happened, so I wouldn't know personally, but like, it's never happened to me. But I guess maybe what it is it just seems really weird in this book.
Yeah, well, it's odd that he would approach that subject in that manner. You know what I mean? But Kirkman does like to push boundaries a little bit. I'm sure that's part of it.
Maybe. I guess if he was going to do it, like, really take it on. Like, he just kind of, I don't know. Like, I feel like he didn't do enough with it if he was going to take it this seriously. So instead, you end up having this really weird plot line that gets introduced in the book, and and mostly it's not even the plot line as much as just how he characterized Mark's handling of it that just seemed a little out of place for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, it also comes, I mean, not to spoil anything in the last book, but it does come kind of around in the last book and becomes an issue then too, right? I mean,
right.
Like a major
earmuffs, Dawn.
Becomes a bit of a story, yeah.
But I mean, so, which, you know, I'm sure is a major issue with that as well. I don't know. But yeah, it seems kind of heavy for a superhero book.
Do you guys want to just talk about 12 and I can leave?
No, it's fine.
We'll wait.
It's fine. I mean, I get it. I'm behind, but
You're behind, dude.
I'm behind on everything. Really, really.
You-
Nothing's changed, Matt.
You're still trying to read everything and behind on all of it.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, you get stuff
Well,
I
I'm
didn't get.
totally out of the loop. I tapped out completely after the New 52 started to go a little repetitive, and I didn't even start in Rebirth. So I'm totally out on the DC universe.
Yeah, I stopped reading DC. I pretty much stopped reading Marvel too. So,
Do you guys want to talk
Wait,
about?
come on. You mean fresh Marvel or just like Marvel in general? Because you use the Unlimited app, don't you?
yeah, I've been reading all the old X-Men. I started with like X-Men like 93, and I'm up to like X-Men 220 something. I'm like up to Fall of the Mutants.
Nice.
And I don't just read X-Men, I'm reading like X-Factor and New Mutants as well. So like all the X books. Which is okay, but now I'm getting to the point where Excalibur and Wolverine started happening. And so I'm going to be up to like 5 books a month that I have to like...
You're doing that X-Men podcast, but
Just on my own?
just on your own and
I
fast.
guess.
Because
Yeah.
they started doing that. I stopped. What was it? The Uncanny X-Cast?
Uncanny X-Cast, yeah.
I don't even know if they're still doing it, but
They got pretty sporadic.
I stopped listening to it a while ago. But they had started getting into all that with like the Excalibur and the X Factor. And
So that's what I've been reading on the Marvel Unlimited app. I do want to eventually get caught up on the newer stuff. So I haven't abandoned Marvel Comics. I'm just not buying any of them in print anymore. So.
Well,
I did...
I'll tell you what you're missing.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there's a group of people who want to eliminate all mutants.
Right.
And the X-Men are trying to fight against that.
I think there's.
I haven't been reading it, but I'm going to go out on a limb.
There might even be like a special series coming up about it.
I've heard that X-Men Blue and X-Men Gold are actually pretty good. I think Cullen Bunn, who's coming to our con, he's writing X-Men Blue. And I've heard good things about that one. So
Blue's not bad.
I'm a little I'm excited to get there. You know, and I didn't mind the Bendis run. I was reading that, the all-new X-Men. I mean, so that stuff was good. X-Men's a funny book, you know. I mean, it has good... I mean, it has like a good run, and it'll have kind of a bad run, and it'll have a good run. You know what I mean? So it's not all bad.
And
There's some good stuff there.
You hammer that a lot, but I mean, in any... Yes, the X-Men are like that, but I mean, if you really boil it down and look at any book, like Spider-Man or Superman or Batman,
It's all the same crap.
it's all the same crap. I mean, Spider-Man's still fighting, you know, the Lizard and the Vulture and Sandman. You know what I mean? Like he's still Peter Parker. He still has problems. They're just bigger problems. Superman, I don't know what Superman's doing, but Batman's still fighting the Joker.
And crime
I
in
guess-
Gotham.
Yeah,
But
crime
again-
in Gotham.
I guess that's actually why any particular series starts to lose me, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, if you think about it, I got back into Spider-Man with the JMS run,
Right.
which actually explored all kinds of new shit.
It did, yes.
That's
and
why it was good.
totally got me.
That
got
is
me
why it
hooked.
was good.
And everything from JMS through the Spider-Verse was really all new stuff.
Right.
And I was pretty much in, like, all the way in. And then at a certain point after, essentially Spider Island.
Yeah.
Between Spider Island and Spider-Verse, it felt like it started to do the same thing. Where it was like, oh, we're just going to keep retelling the same stories. It was almost like the writers were trapped in the Spider-Verse. Like, they just couldn't get their heads out of it.
Right.
And again, that's when I was like, okay, I'm bored. I'm going to move on. And at least Miles Morales was a completely new take on it. And so there's nothing about his story that's been boring yet. They've actually done some smart things with that character. But so I mean, I pick on the X-Men because they've never grown out of it.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, you know, reread it. You know, Chris Claremont kind of had a plan. You know, it did evolve. I think it was when he left is when it kind of went south because nobody stayed on it long enough to develop like the long-term plan. Because Claremont always seemed to have like, I mean, he had the story now, but he was always looking like 2 or 3 years in the future and building towards something. You know.
Right.
And so it always felt a little more planned, and I just don't think they've ever had that kind of continuity since then because they kick the writers off every 2 years before they can really build anything.
And now, remind me, was the Brood a part of Claremont's run, or was that after?
Yeah, he started the Brood like way early.
Yeah. That was like in the 140s, 150s.
Yeah. He loved the Brood, but they were really just an Alien ripoff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, they were gratuitously an Alien ripoff. That was not. They didn't even hide it very well.
But he loved the Brood. Yeah. Well, comic books are like that though. They'd have all sorts of little things that were kind of
Oh, yeah.
obvious, kind of homages or ripoffs, how you want to perpetrate it.
Cough, cough, dead shot.
Right.
Oh, it was funny. So, like, I was on Facebook in the local comic book shop, Wizards Asylum. They posted a picture. They had a copy of whatever, New Mutants 98, like the first appearance of Deadpool.
Yeah.
And they also had a copy of Teen Titans #2, which is the first appearance of Deathstroke.
Oh, okay.
And so, like, one of the caption was, "Hey, we got the first appearance of Deadpool in." And the other Deadpool, the other not so popular Deadpool appearance.
Who was actually first.
Yes. Who was actually first, yes, but it was funny.
Well, there was something I was reading when the movie came out, the first one. They were saying that Liefeld was actually doing like a Teen Titans pitch.
Yeah.
And that's how he came out, and it was supposed to be Deathstroke, but like he ended up just taking that pitch and reworking it for New Mutants, and so he just created Deadpool, which was just like Deathstroke, but slightly different.
Youngblood, Bloodstrike, it's all
They're all
X-Men. I mean, but it's all X-Men. Youngblood is X-Men.
Youngblood really is X-Men. I mean, it's his X-Force.
I mean,
that was branched off of X-Men.
Yeah.
You know?
And that Bloodstrike book that I brought in, that Michael Fyfe one last podcast, I mean, that's Wolverine, obviously.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
no,
all he did was change the color on the costume. Huh?
I thought Lobo was supposed to be Wolverine.
Well, he was like DC's answer to probably Wolverine, I would say.
He's like a combination.
He's like a mashup of Wolverine and the Punisher.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Somewhat, I guess.
But yeah, he pretty much was Wolverine because he's like Bastage, Bub, it was the same crap. Yeah.
But no, the Image book Bloodstrike had a character, and I mean he had the mask, like the old brown mask with the triangles, of Wolverine. I mean, he had that. It was the same thing, except instead of brown and yellow, it was red and white, I think, was his costume. So, I mean...
And his nickname was Angry Badger, and it was just different.
Yes. So we usually talk about, like, movie stuff, but San Diego Comic-Con happened.
Did you go?
No, I didn't go.
I thought Matt did.
Oh, Matt.
God, I wish. That would have been awesome.
But, there was a story early on that Tom King had to have a bodyguard.
But he was just joking.
Oh, he was only joking?
Yeah, he was just joking.
Oh, I didn't
Tom
know.
King, the Batman writer.
Writer on Batman right now.
Are you up on all the Batman, how like Batman was supposed to marry Catwoman?
I don't know. I'm not. No. I don't know what happened.
Dude, I told you I haven't done anything
you know what
since
happened?
like 2/3 of the way through.
I don't.
Through 52.
Don't spoil it.
Okay.
I want to read
How
it.
are you not caught up on that? It's been all.
It
It was like in the
out.
New York Times.
I don't listen to any media or watch
Wow.
the news or do anything.
You're weird.
I
Well,
am.
the New York Times is neither audio or television.
That's
So.
true.
Wow. I meant like it's true. I don't get the New York Times. I don't read it online. I don't seek out news stories usually on my phone.
There was some interesting news I wanted to share.
Aquaman trailer. Did you see that one? Ooh,
Doesn't it look horrible?
It does. It looks cheesy.
So a lot of people are on Facebook saying this Aquaman movie looks awesome. I'm like, are you seeing the same trailer as me? It looks as bad as Green Lantern.
My wife.
No, are you talking about Shazam?
No, I'm talking about Aquaman.
Aquaman.
Have you seen the Aquaman trailer?
The
Hey
Aquaman
Matt, did you see
trailer.
the Aquaman trailer?
It looks pretty bad.
Of course I did.
What do you think? Scott and I think it was horrible.
It felt pretty run rate to me, but I didn't think it felt as bad as Green Lantern.
Okay, but it looks as bad as Justice League, right?
But here's my thing. Green Lantern, from a trailer perspective, didn't look all that bad to me necessarily. The movie was bad, but the trailer itself didn't look that bad. This one, the trailer looks bad already going into this thing.
So I find it unfair to compare anything to Justice League because I think it's unfair for the following reasons. One, no other movie is going to have two completely different directors shooting roughly 50% of the movie differently.
That's true.
Other than Solo.
Well, I wasn't comparing Aquaman though to Justice
Yeah, I
League.
did that.
Yeah.
Drew did.
Yeah.
And Solo, that's not fair because he basically reshot like 80% of the movie. That's different.
True. That's why the budget was $250
Yeah.
million.
I mean, no,
That's why they didn't make any
literally
money
doubled
on
the
it
budget of
and-
the movie. Like, I mean, that's why they were saying like he essentially reshot the movie because it went from $120 million movie to like 250.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's different to me. Like when you reshoot the whole fucking thing, that's fine. But instead of trying to like,
Instead, on Justice
Mishmash.
League, they just interspersed everything because they realized they had to meet a timeline.
yeah, I mean, it looked like they took the animatics and like added a little bit of extra graphics and then wove that into the finished movie. And it was just so tonally bizarre. And I was not a big Zack Snyder DC guy, but like I at least wanted to see his vision of the movie. Like let him just finish his thing, you know?
Well, he stepped down.
He stepped down.
Yeah.
Oh, that was bullshit. Everybody knows that was bullshit.
His daughter
I
committed
don't know. His
suicide.
daughter committed suicide, so there was some family issues there going on.
I'm sure there was, but the thing is that movie was essentially done.
Yeah.
And that could be.
But anyway,
Maybe-
back to Aquaman. What do you think of the
But
Aquaman trailer?
the point is, I thought Aquaman looked better than some of the most recent. I mean, obviously better than Justice League, but I think that's unfair.
Well, tonally, it does look like it is a bit lighter in tone and things, which is different for the DC universe. So perhaps that could be a good thing.
Hey, I know how to make action scenes really, really cool. Let's put them in water where everything moves really slow.
Yeah, a ton of CGI. I don't
Because
know.
nothing says cool action scenes like slow water action scenes.
But Aquaman can swim
I
fast.
think the thing that cracked me up was I kept waiting at any. I thought at any moment Boss Nass was going to show up.
Right. And he still could.
He's still good.
Yeah.
No, but that's the Star Wars guy, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Boss
but
Nass.
that's Disney.
I know. We're
True.
joking.
It's totally off.
Well, you're like,
No,
those
dude,
could
it's the
still
crossover
happen.
event of the century.
It could be.
Could be. Well, Disney bought Fox. They'll probably buy Warner Brothers next.
Yes.
Could be.
Marvel
Shazam,
will
though.
own
You see that
Disney.
trailer?
I saw the Shazam trailer.
That was not bad. It's
What?
got
That
some-
looks better than
What?
Aquaman.
It's got
but
some-
not great.
That one was a joke. Like that.
But at
they
least
just-
it kind of was joking
no,
fun.
but no, it was bad joking fun.
Really? You feel it was bad joking?
It was
huh?
horrible. That guy. I watched Chuck.
Zachary Levi or
I
whatever?
watched Chuck. He was okay on Chuck. That guy is not ready.
He's not ready for prime time.
It was terrible. The acting was bad. That suit was ridiculous.
It does
the
look like
cape-
it's overly inflated or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, and plus the cape like comes up and it almost looks like it surrounds the back of his head. Like you can get a cape that lays flat.
Well, once again, it
And
looks
you
like.
don't need the lightning bolt to light up.
But
It doesn't need.
it
to
looks-
light up.
I'm actually with Dawn on all of that.
Okay.
The
Well, it
cape-
does look kind of like a comedy, but like not like a good comedy like Ragnarok.
Yes, exactly.
It's
Okay.
like bad comedy.
So
Like
I'm
cheesy comedy.
I'm really down on DC movies. Like I'm already
You are?
going in biased against them. So I watched the Shazam trailer and then I made Barbara watch it and I'm like, I need a second opinion from somebody who's not biased. And she watched it and she kind of looked at me and I go, it just popped in my head. I'm like, it's like a remake of the movie Big, only crappy. And Barbara goes, that's exactly what I was thinking. It's like a bad version of Big.
It kind of is. That's true.
I don't know. The jokes were not. The only thing that was slightly amusing, I think, was when they go to test out his powers and he tries to fly and he flies up like 10 feet and then falls back down. That whole scene when he's walking out, like holding. That's it. The suit's too puffy, for one. It just throws you off. If he's walking out with all those snacks and the groceries and he's like, I'm a superhero or something, I'm like, oh, this is bad. It's bad. It's not good. In my opinion.
No,
Okay.
it's not. I don't think. I thought it
I
looks.
think you nailed it.
But I think if you sat me down and said you can watch the Shazam movie, which is kind of goofy but silly but a little entertaining, or this Aquaman movie, which is taking itself too seriously and just is bad and just boring, I think I would rather watch the Shazam movie. Just for me personally, because I'd rather just kind of be lightly entertained than have this Aquaman movie that's trying to be something like semi-serious with like some actual emotion, and it's not working.
I'll just wait to watch the crappy Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Oh man.
Don't even get me started.
Yeah.
Oh well, it's like
Yeah.
DC now knows that they have to add comedy into their movies,
But they're not good at
but
it.
they don't know how to
They
do
don't know
it.
how to do
They're
it. That's
terrible
very
at
true.
it, and it's bad either
Yeah.
way.
No,
So they
they
can't win.
couldn't figure out the source material either, right? The comic books aren't good at it.
Well,
No,
yeah,
they aren't.
definitely the DC universe is darker in nature, and I think that's where Snyder, I think, tried to take that same tone a lot of
Yeah.
times throughout the movies. His big problem was the fact that he just always bit off more than he could chew. He liked that universe so much. He's like, oh, let's throw everything into this 2-hour movie, type thing.
I honestly think that when DC was in trouble was when Superman snapped Zod's neck. Like,
You do go back to that. I don't know
People-
that I had a problem with
I
it.
didn't
care.
I didn't care either, but I think there's a lot of hardcore DC fans, which I'm not one, that's the law. You know, Superman doesn't kill.
Yeah.
Batman doesn't kill.
Yeah, but okay, the
And-
first Spider-Man movie where he killed the burglar. I mean, nobody freaked out about that. There was a little bit of rumbling, like, oh, I
But
can't-
that's core to the story.
But he didn't kill the burglar. He caught him. But in the movie, didn't he kill him?
I don't think so. I mean, the burglar died. Well, he freaked him out and he fell backwards out
But
the
then
window.
Spider-Man kind of acted like he was happy about it at the time.
Well,
Like, he was kinda
they
staring-
left it. Yeah, they left it open to interpretation.
It was a little
and there
ambiguous. Yeah,
There
but
was some pushback about it at the time, like ooh,
there
wait a
was.
minute,
But people
did
didn't freak out. It
Spider-Man
didn't ruin the movies.
That
I
is
don't-
true.
But what
Still
I'm
was a
saying
huge
is,
seller.
I don't know. I honestly think that's where they got into trouble. But obviously, people still go to see the damn movies.
That is true.
I mean, so they're
People
still
went to go
selling
see
tickets.
Suicide Squad and Batman vs Superman,
Yeah,
which amazed
I've
me.
seen both of those.
And they
Not
liked
bad
Wonder
theater.
Woman.
And they liked Wonder Woman.
But
which
then Justice
And
League bombed.
I liked Wonder Woman.
yeah. Wonder
I'm
Woman,
a lemming. I'm right there, just falling over the cliff with the rest of them.
No.
I really didn't understand what everybody hated about Suicide Squad. I thought that was fun.
No, it was
Yeah,
horrible.
it wasn't that.
It's a bad movie.
It's so bad.
There's good parts in it.
There's some good parts, and honestly, I was really pretty good with the first half of it, but it just gets to a point where it doesn't know where it wants to go, and it just kind of stalls out there. And the Joker in that is just, Jared Leto is not a bad actor. I somewhat understand what he's trying to do. Here again, it's another one of these cases where DC is taking more than Warner Brothers is trying to throw in more than they need to in a movie. They had no need to have the Joker in there as much as they did.
They don't
Maybe in
need
the
that.
very early on for some of that Harley Quinn backstory, but to have him keep popping in there all through the thing was not needed.
And it's a horrible version of the Joker. I would rather had.
Well, he's
It's
a
a
victim,
version.
but the problem is he's a victim of
I said it's a horrible
people
version of the Joker.
that portrayed the Joker in the past. And trying to follow up a Heath Ledger Joker is flipping impossible.
I would have rather had from '89 Joker. Like that guy.
Jack Nicholson?
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah,
Joker?
Jack Nicholson. I couldn't think of his name. Yeah, I'd rather have Jack
His
Nicholson.
name.
I'd rather have Jack Nicholson Joker than.
Well, at the
That
time, I
stupid
thought
Jared
there again,
Leto.
I thought that Jack Nicholson did a good job.
Oh, I do
And
too.
I felt like
It's-
Jared Leto. Heath Ledger blew it out of the park.
Oh,
but
yeah.
then Jared Leto was trying something there, and he was trying to separate it from the other ones in the past, and it just didn't really work out. But that's not what the Suicide Squad was supposed to be about anyway.
No.
And I think was the problem with that one.
It just felt tacked on.
That's
for
right.
Fan
Well,
service.
it's because when you go to a comic book convention, 90% of the people are dressed up like Harley Quinn and the Joker.
Joker,
So, I mean, you got to put them into the freaking movie
Could be.
because that's what people want to
Well,
see.
The backstory is that they filmed like enough footage of the Joker and Harley Quinn to do
That
like
whole
almost
movie.
an entire movie
I
just
know.
for those two. And then they apparently cut so much. They actually cut another like 20 minutes of the movie, which was the majority of the Joker Harley Quinn footage. And what you ended up getting was this thoroughly underdeveloped Joker, which I think they had this position where it was like, well, we can cut Joker out completely and have an hour and a half movie, or leave just enough. And I think that was a matter of they couldn't commit to a longer movie, maybe like
Maybe.
slightly longer runtime.
But it just gets back around to my point in which they're trying to throw too much in every one of their movies. They're playing catch up with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they need to step back and take their time with some of that type of stuff to try to get where they want. Like you said, that they had all this footage of those two, you know, in their for almost another movie, they should have done that first and built themselves to a Suicide Squad. Instead, they're like, oh shit, we got to throw all these people in here and get this going because we're 5-10 years behind freaking, you know, the Marvel side.
That's what they did with Wonder Woman, and people liked it. And it looks like that's what they're trying to do with Aquaman as well.
Well, with Wonder Woman, they took a step back, though, I felt like.
Yeah.
And they tried to focus it on a character. And you're right. I guess that's where you're going, right?
Yeah,
and
that's
now
what they're doing with Aquaman.
Trying to focus
They were
on
trying to run before they walked. Now
That's
they're
right.
saying, no, we can't do that. We're going to try and walk first.
Okay. Yes, I agree.
But I still think Aquaman looks horrible.
Yeah.
And I don't know
Any
how
other-
people are watching the same trailer as me and they think it looks awesome.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I'm with you there.
You're just
Anything
a
else
hater.
at the Comic-Con? Other trailers or anything? I didn't hear like any news
Oh.
hardly out of the Comic-Con.
Oh, there's the hits, and there's the new Godzilla. They're going to
yeah?
introduce.
Oh, that's true. I did see that one. But here's another freaking universe building thing.
Yeah.
But,
Glass.
Glass. That actually looks
Glass,
good.
That one's true.
I'm a
Yeah,
little
I did
excited
see
about that.
Yeah.
I liked Unbreakable a lot. Split was okay.
Did you guys?
Oh,
I didn't see Split.
I love
What?
Split.
You haven't seen Split?
No.
Oh, you
Oh,
should
man.
definitely check that one
Yeah,
out.
you should see that. It's good.
Yeah.
I really liked Split.
It was okay. Didn't love it.
I did love it.
But I really liked Unbreakable.
I loved it so much.
Even
I
though it was
married
flawed. With a stupid ending.
What?
What?
Unbreakable.
Unbreakable?
Yeah.
I tend to agree with that ending on that one. It was like trying to.
But the build up to the ending was perfect. But the ending
But Split,
itself-
I thought Split was fairly solid. I mean,
It wasn't bad.
and maybe part of my problem with Split was the fact that being from M. Night, I was in his track record of the later movies. My expectations were very low,
That could be.
and so watching it, I was like, "Hey, this is kind of back to those,
Yeah.
you know, stories that I,
I
think
don't
he
know.
likes."
Did
to
you not
watch,
see
so.
The Visit? That was good.
I don't think I saw the visit.
How's his comeback movie, man?
Was it?
You should definitely see Matt. You should definitely see
Split.
Split before you watch Glass.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay, I'll watch it. Okay, so wait, so we're like 50-50 on Aquaman? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, who
Or
liked
are
the
we-
trailer?
I watched it once, like half watched it, so I haven't seen the whole thing. From what I saw, it looked better than it looked okay. It looked better than the Shazam trailer.
And
but-
you liked it, Matt?
I thought Aquaman looked okay. I didn't think it was bad.
I thought it looked horrible. Scott,
Yeah,
I thought it looked.
And
so
I
guess
can't.
we're like,
Yeah, we're like 50.
we're
It is
50-50 because Don won't.
Okay. And
So
we
I
all
guess he's
thought
on your
Shazam
side.
was like a bucket of diarrhea, right?
What
Like, it
was?
bad.
Shazam.
Shazam. I thought it was better than Ant-Man, but
What? No,
I mean, I'm sorry, better than
Aquaman.
Yeah.
Okay, better.
Oh.
I felt like Shazam was at least being truthful for what it wanted to be, which was
Correct.
a goofy superhero movie, and it portrayed that.
If you put both the movies in front of me and said I can only see one, I would see Shazam.
I would see Aquaman probably.
Well,
But I wouldn't be happy about either one.
it depends on if I had a choice or if I was taking my wife, because I know I'd have to go see Aquaman.
For Jason
Well,
Momoa.
Yeah, for Jason.
But if
Momoa.
it was you,
But if it was
just
me,
you-
I probably would end up seeing Shazam.
Oh my god!
I know it.
Wow.
I don't know though.
Drew's
Amber
on
Heard
Scott's
though is
side.
in Aquaman too. Yeah, I guess like at least that's something pretty to
Who?
watch. I think it's Amber Heard, isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
Aquaman's wife.
Aquaman's wife,
Mira?
Mira.
Mira.
Yeah, and she's pretty
Yeah,
good
she's
at.
She's
smoking.
alright.
Yeah.
But she even that trailer, she looked very like CGI-ish. I don't know if they like
The
digitized
freaking
it
bright
or
ass
something.
red hair.
Did
but
they have
I
to?
don't know.
Did they have to get rid of her mustache?
Maybe.
God. That's awful.
Ouch, dude.
It was a Superman joke.
I know.
Oh,
I
I
know.
got it.
So I guess the big thing coming out of Comic-Con then was really the Clone Wars coming back.
Yeah, that's
That
cool.
seems to be like a big thing.
So, I didn't even hear other than Clone Wars is coming back. Is it going to be a cartoon?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's another
Yeah.
season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They were green
The
light.
final season that was supposed to happen, they're going to actually have happen. So it's going to take the Clone Wars cartoon all the way up to the moment of the third movie, the Revenge of George Lucas, whatever the name it was.
The biggest story of the weekend was James Gunn, which didn't even happen at
Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It kind of overshadowed everything.
Yeah. I didn't check a lot of the news or panels or anything coming out of Comic-Con.
What was odd is like I was really looking for some comic book announcements, but it's like I know DC announced a couple books. Like didn't they have some
Mark Silvestri's doing a
Batman book, which
Mhm.
okay.
that he's
but
been
like
working on for like 4 or 5 years.
but Marvel didn't really announce anything, and then Image announced nothing.
Didn't Marvel announce something about Neil Gaiman is coming back on to Miracle Man?
But they announced that like 2 years ago, and it never happened. So
Yeah. And which is funny now because DC is just relaunching the entire Sandman universe.
yeah,
We're
but
gonna
he's
have,
not
like-
writing any of it.
Oh, he's not?
I don't think so.
I thought he
He's
might
above
have wrote
such
the
things.
original, like the because they did.
I
they
think
were
he
doing
did write
like
the
a-
original Sandman.
But yes, what I mean
Yeah, I
is
think he did.
what I mean was they did like a one shot.
Yeah, he
or
might have wrote
a
like a
series or
one-shot.
something that branches it all off into like 4. Like there's a book
Yeah.
that branches everything.
He
off.
wroed like he probably wrote the one shot, and they
Gaiman
had
may
like
have
4
done
writers
something.
come in and
Yeah.
like branch off of that.
All right.
Jesus.
Well, and even at that, I'm probably wrong on that because didn't he actually take the Sandman title from way back when and just kind of reboot it into his own?
Well, because Sandman did exist before,
Yes,
But it
exactly.
wasn't
but
totally
it was
different.
It was a
wasn't
totally
anything.
different type of thing. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly
no,
right.
It was completely different.
Yeah.
Which I guess they could do again.
Yeah, I was.
This is just building on
It's
his-
interesting.
his Sandman
His Sandman
universe.
in the the 7Ds or whatever. I don't
Yeah,
know.
whatever.
Because I think Image is saving all their announcements for their Image Expo. You
When's
know,
that?
well, it's usually in the spring, I think.
Oh.
I mean,
wow.
So they're gonna wait 9 months.
Well, they
That
just
seems
had
to
it,
be-
so I think they announced most of their stuff at Image Expo.
So
and
what they
then-
announced?
I don't know. A bunch
Oh,
of
okay.
books.
That
Good for them.
they announced that Robert Kirkman was gonna be there at the show.
And then I think Marvel
like,
saves
5
a lot of-
hours.
a lot of their stuff for like all the Disney conventions. Isn't there like a Disney
There
like,
is that
convention?
D23.
D23. So I think they've all like moved their big announcements out of San Diego.
So San Diego's just movies now.
I think San Diego is literally just movies. I didn't see
Well,
hardly any comic book
movies and
except
shows,
for some DC.
type things.
Stuff.
Because Clone Wars is a series. I'm sure there's other Netflix type series and whatever the heck else that were probably announced there too.
And then CabanaCon.
This is slight difference, but why is IDW publishing all these Star Wars comics?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, Marvel has the license.
Yeah,
why
I
are
don't
they?
get it.
Why are they hiring a different publisher to publish their books?
I think they were. I don't know.
Is
They
it
just
still-
don't want to. They don't want to take the trouble of finding a creative.
Is
team
the
to do it?
deal still whatever contract that they originally had with Lucas? Is that still
No,
going on? Or anything? Okay.
Hold on, I think that IDW still has some sort of rights to some kind of Star Wars property.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I know
and
Marvel
so
gave them. I know Disney gave them a right, but why would they just give it to Marvel?
Maybe the deal was just too good.
Because IDW never had a Star Wars license. It was Dark Horse. Remember?
It might be one of those things which I don't get it, but don't put all your eggs in one basket. Like we've talked to creators before, whether they be an artist or a writer, and they may have like a project at Dark Horse, and then they have a project at Marvel, and then they have a project at Image, and then they have a project somewhere else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, why wouldn't you just publish all your shit under Valiant? Like, why would you spread out over like 5 different companies or whatever?
Yeah.
So maybe they're trying to market a new market. Like maybe they're trying to hit a market, and I don't know why that would be, but maybe they're trying to hit an IDW market that's not absorbing, that is not getting it through Marvel.
Huh.
I have no idea.
I have no idea either. Oh, sorry, that was a weird segue.
That was.
Do-do-do. Nothing else from San Diego Comic Con?
No,
Not that I know of.
It was a shit show.
I would tend to agree with you because I just didn't hear hardly anything come out of it. So
I think that show
I would
is-
still love to be there though.
I'd probably go, but I think that show has jumped the shark.
it probably has.
I'm going to talk about Farmhand.
Farmhand. That looks like the best cover ever.
Is that your new favorite Facebook video game? Like, what is
Right.
Farmhand?
Farmhand is Rob Guillory. You know who Rob Guillory is?
Gilroy.
He's the artist for Chew.
Ah,
He has created his own book. He's the writer and the artist called Farmhand. It's his brand new book he came out with.
looks like Plants vs Zombies.
Right. So the concept of Farmhand is it's about this guy who's developed this technology where he can basically grow organs. And so the organs grow like out of the ground. And so like arms and eyes and legs and hearts and all this stuff. And so he's become like a growing organ factory. And the book has like a theme of like family kind of sitting around it, because it starts out with this guy and his wife, and he's got 2 kids, and they're going to meet his dad and his sister who work at this venture where they grow all these organs. And apparently they had a falling out and they haven't seen each other for like 3 years, but they're, you know, reuniting. But there's this undercurrent that there's something sort of not quite on the up and up going about this whole operation. So there's like a dark underbelly of this, you know, farmhand, you know, this organ growing operation. But anyway, it's interesting. I mean, in this issue, there's like a guy who like comes in, he's like a corporate spy who's trying to like steal the technology, and they have to like shut him down while they're there and stuff. But anyway, it's the first issue. Not a lot happened, but the art's really cool because it's Rob Guillory, and it's got a cool tone to it. I don't know. I think it's going places. We'll see where it ends up. But if you like Chew and kind of that dark sort of humor, and
That's where I was going to go.
you like
It
that,
kind of got that dark
it's got that
comedy
same
type
kind
thing.
of thing. It's not really funny, but it's got that kind of dark.
Have you read it, Don?
But the
Yeah, I
artwork is
haven't
kind of
gotten a copy
cartoony.
yet.
So
Well, you're just shaking your head, kind of
But
like
it's
you
cool.
agreed with Don or with Drew.
If
There.
you,
Oh no, I don't know.
Sounds terrible.
really? All right, well, I didn't sell it very well.
Terrible.
But Farmhand is really good. I would recommend picking that up. That's one of the newer books that I'm kind of excited about.
Is that Image?
It is Image.
This will tie in. Throw that up there.
Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
Don's going to talk about that.
Charlie's
Oh, is it,
Angels, number
isn't
one
it dark
from,
comedy?
from Dynamite. No, but John Layman writes it.
Oh, John Layman writes it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
John Layman writes it, and
Joe
Joe
Eisman.
Eisman does the artwork, Matt.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah,
This sounds like something I'd like immediately.
I don't know. Probably because I didn't like it.
Okay, well, yeah,
Wow.
if Don didn't like it, I'm
Harsh.
sure I will.
You didn't
But I don't
Was
know, it's
just
a
like the
comic,
movie?
so,
Let's-
you know, it's not
like,
a movie.
So it's like set in the
So-
70s, right?
Yeah. So I'll put it
It's
this
not
way.
like the new Charlie's Angels.
No,
it's like
it's-
the old
This
Charlie's
is
Angels.
in the 70s. It's not
Back
that
when Don was in his 40s, huh?
I didn't dislike reading it. I enjoyed reading it, but I would not continue to buy it and continue to read it.
At $3.99, it's not gonna.
Yeah,
Not
I mean,
coming
I
back.
like both those creators, but it's
Did
basically
you,
an
did
episode.
you love Charlie's Angels when you were a kid?
No, I did not.
So you don't have any nostalgia.
No, I don't have any nostalgia.
You're not
for it.
the audience.
I'm not the audience for this.
So
book.
if you watch Charlie's Angels, how old would you be now? Like in your 50s?
Well, it came out in the 70s, right?
It did come out in the 70s. I watched some Charlie's Angels.
I
I'm
mean,
not that old.
I've seen an episode here or there, but like I didn't like I couldn't miss an episode. Like I was there every Saturday night at 8 o'clock.
But I mean, it was on there, in the later 70s and things when we had like 3
So if
things
you were-
to watch on TV at any time. So I probably didn't like go out of my way to watch it, but if you're watching TV, there was probably not too many
Well,
choices.
you weren't
and
watching
so
it when
I
it
did
was
that.
like on in prime time. You must have watched it in syndication.
That's probably true, but I don't know. I think my parents watched it when it was.
So my
prime
very
time, so I've
limited-
probably seen it by whatever.
My very limited knowledge of the TV show Charlie's Angels, I would assume this is just like an episode of Charlie's Angels. I mean,
Yeah.
they're
In
they
a
start out.
20-page comic book?
Well, no, it's like 6 parts.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn. That's a
Five-
lot of commitment
It's
for
like
one
5
episode
parts
of Charlie's
or
Angels.
6 parts. So, I mean,
Yeah.
there's this guy who owns a club, and he's in with the shady. His owner is like a shady guy who's like an arms dealer or something.
So I think
and
it comes
they
down
set him
to
up.
would you pay $24, which is 6 times 4, for another episode of Charlie's Angels in comic book form?
Hmm.
No.
I don't know that many people would.
The only reason that I would even think about it is because it's Joe Eisman.
That dude is fast. He's doing drawing like tons of books.
He's
Is
not
he?
writing this.
I know drawing. Sorry, I misspoke. I corrected myself. He's drawing tons of books.
Yeah. What else is he drawing?
I wish they'd
I don't
freaking
know,
come
was
out
he
with a
drawing some
hardcover
Archie
for
stuff?
freaking Morning
Yeah, I
Glories.
think.
Or,
Oh
Well,
yeah.
that's not his fault.
I know.
Well, yeah, it is.
So anyway, yes, it is.
Whose fault would it not be?
The
He's
guy
the
writing
owner.
it.
Well, no, the hardcover. We just want the hardcover.
All I want is the hardcover for Morning
Of the
Glories.
last
the last
arc.
one.
Oh, it's
There's like-
out.
There's like
No.
It's
three.
been published.
No, it hasn't.
There's 3 trades that have not been collected in a hardcover.
That's what I'm saying. So you could go out and get the 3 trades and read the story.
But I want the hardcover.
Could, but I have
I do
3
too.
freaking hardcovers, and I don't want to go buy these other soft covers.
But he said he won't publish the hardcover until he sells through the trades.
Yeah, I
because
know.
he doesn't have the capital.
So then you have to go buy the trades.
I-
You have to double dip.
I guess.
There's probably 6 left.
Go buy them all.
If you buy 3 copies, I
Back
buy
to the
3
reason
copies,
why-
and you buy 3 copies.
Back to the reason why the Star Wars movies
Then it'll
totally
sell through.
failed was because Don didn't go see Solo.
Exactly.
Yep, back to that.
Did you see Solo, Matt?
Yeah, I don't know what everybody's problem was. I liked that movie.
I
It
like
was
that
good.
movie as well. But Don
Don
didn't
didn't go see it.
So he's part of the reason why it failed. In fact,
Yeah.
he is the
Yeah.
reason why it was
It's all
considered a
Don's
failure.
fault.
Don is part of the.
Yep.
Don's part of the problem.
I am.
Absolutely. He's a big part of the problem.
It's not that I didn't want to see it. I could not fit it into my schedule.
Did you want to see The Last Jedi?
Yeah,
Did you fit that into your
I
schedule?
did.
And he
Okay.
hated it. So that's probably what it is. He's not
No,
going to
he
go see
liked
another.
The Last Jedi.
I didn't hate it.
But you didn't like it.
I had
either.
problems with it.
Yeah. It wasn't quite as bad as Force Awakens, I guess, for him. But
And as I stated,
As
when
I
I
stated.
bought it, when it came out and I rewatched it, had less of a problem with it.
really,
So it grows
so that's
on me.
so that's the way you should watch.
I think
them
I
all,
liked
just
it
by-
less. the
Exactly.
second time.
That's why I didn't
Yeah.
go see Solo.
So you'll like it now. You'll
Now I'll
love
love
it.
it.
Yeah.
When it comes out on
Okay.
DVD, I will buy it.
Okay.
I will buy the movie.
And you're right. I haven't even bought the
Almost
Last
everybody
Jedi.
I've talked to,
Watched on Netflix.
almost everybody I've talked to liked the Last Jedi better the second or third time seeing it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw it the second
There-
time in the theater, and it was like, yeah, it's okay.
There's a lot of crybabies out there, Matt. I think you're missing out on the crybabies.
That could be. I still like the Last Jedi.
Oh,
I'm
no,
definitely
I'm
not
well
in.
aware of them.
I'm definitely not in the camp that's freaking totally slaughtering that movie. But
No.
I liked it the first time, and the second time around, I thought, there is a couple of things that bothered me, but overall, I thought it was an enjoyable film.
Yeah, I still like it.
Oh yeah, that lightsaber throne
Oh,
room,
yeah.
whatever scene is.
The
still
only
just
thing
freaking-
that-
there were some great visuals in that movie.
The only thing that throws me in that movie, it seems like tonally it's a little off from your normal Star Wars movie, which throws you a little bit. Like it doesn't
What do you
feel
mean
like
it's off? It's just a reshoot of the other movie.
no,
It
it's
is still
totally
bad.
different. There's just something.
It's not totally
There's
different.
something that just feels a little off on it. Whereas Force Awakens felt like it really captured that initial trilogy, tone. And I felt Solo captured
Oh
that
yeah,
tone
because it was
as
a
well.
total remake of New Hope. So yeah, it really
Yeah, it
captured
really
that
had the
tone.
same tone.
That's
but
right.
like Last Jedi felt like it missed the tone a little bit. But
I tell
it's
you,
still a fun
I
movie.
really like Force Awakens, but I know why I like it is because it reminds me of the original Star Wars. It's so nostalgic
Yeah.
in kind of updated type of way that's why I like it so much. But I can't. The haters that say it's a remake of Star Wars, I can't really tell them they're wrong.
But that doesn't mean it's not good.
But that doesn't mean I still didn't like it. Oh well.
The only thing that I didn't
I
like
think we
about
need a
it
reboot.
was I wanted to see something new.
Tangent.
About what?
When the Star Wars,
Force Awakens?
The Force Awakens. Like I
Oh.
wanted to see a new Star Wars.
Ray
movie.
was new.
Yes.
She's a new character, so
She-
she's Finn.
she is.
Was there another character in the Star Wars movie that was a stormtrooper and then that became like a rebel fighter?
No.
Oh.
Han Solo, I guess in a way, because he was an
I'm sure
Imperial.
he was a
So,
stormtrooper.
you know.
Kind of.
Anyway, we don't need to.
He hasn't seen Solo, you just spoiled
We
it.
don't, we don't need to discuss this anymore.
I think we do.
Okay. What's
Alright.
next after
I think
Farmhand?
it's Scott's turn.
How about leaving Megalopolis?
You're leaving Megalopolis?
I read
Matt?
I read that one. I did not read trying to survive it or whatever.
Surviving
which is,
Megalopolis.
which is number 2. So the idea of this is this city is like the safest city in the world, Megalopolis, and for some whatever the hell reason, it's got a bunch of superheroes there, and something happens in which all the superheroes go bad, and they just start essentially killing like all the freaking non-supers, I guess, in the city.
Citizens.
Okay. You consider the superheroes not a citizen of the city? I don't know.
You said the non-superheroes of
The non-supers of the city. So
The superheroes start killing them.
Wait, is this an old book?
it is older, I think.
It's like 3 years, maybe?
It was a Kickstarter.
It was a Kickstarter.
Oh, okay. This isn't what I'm thinking. Then.
Okay.
It was a Kickstarter, but then they published it through Dark Horse after the Kickstarter.
Yes.
But originally it was a Kickstarter by Gail Simone and Jim Calafiore.
But anyway, the superheroes are called superheroes are now bad, killing people, but they can't leave the city for whatever the hell reason.
Well, the superheroes are like maybe like the perimeter, haven't they? And like trapped everybody in there.
Well, they've trapped everybody in there, but it also, for whatever reason, they lead you to believe that everything's self-contained in the city too. So it's
like
why
Escape
they're
from New York.
Why they're not leaving, I don't know either, because it seems to be that there's this thing in which it's going on in these supers' heads in which they got to kill somebody every couple of hours.
Yeah, they're crazy.
Yeah, and so they're pretty crazy,
superheroes.
and really what this is trying to focus more on is a couple of the people in the city that are trying to escape.
Yes, Escape from New York.
Very much. And
It's like Escape from New York with superheroes. No
it
wonder I
really
liked
is,
it.
yeah.
Exactly.
And it's really focusing more on those characters and kind of their trials that they're going through trying to escape the city.
Well, there's a whole band of them, right? Like they gather more people as
They
go.
keep gathering people as they go along. It's really focusing too on one of the females of the group who's kind of got her own. I mean, she's basically just looking out for herself, and then is trying to, but towards the end, trying to then protect this group that she's found, too. So it's got some of those kind of, what do you want to say, typical story type tropes that happen, but overall it's pretty good. I love the art in this though. Who'd you say the artist is?
It's Jim Calafiore.
Man, that is just fantastic.
I have an original art page by him.
Do you really?
Mm-hmm.
The story itself, I thought it was engaging.
Yeah.
It moves at a really fast pace
What is it?
What's what?
with a
What's
piece
the
of art.
original art page?
I think it's from the Secret Six, probably.
Ah,
I have one from him also.
cool.
Well, whoop-de-doo
I might
for
have
you.
two.
Well, blah blah blah.
But I am interested now to see what they try to do in number 2, because this one kind of, ended up in a pretty decent place, I guess. In some
Yeah.
ways. I mean, it doesn't really wrap up the whole story and everything else, but it was enough that it kind of ended that at least arc, in a
I
way.
vaguely remember the first one. I don't remember anything about the second.
Really? Okay. Well, now I'll have to read
Wow.
the second and see what happens in that one.
Then Scott can refresh my memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is good. Like I say, it's tight. It moves fast. Great art, and it's trying to take some of those ideas of evil superheroes and try to do something different with it.
Feels very Walking Dead, but if the zombies were superheroes trying to kill you.
That could be the next big thing.
Yes.
We should do it.
It kind of reminds me of the first few Walking Dead episodes where Rick is like trying to get out of the city.
What'd you read, Don?
Oh wow! I didn't. Okay, so I read.
Yeah, he was coming back around.
No,
I guess I just did clock it around the other way or something.
I picked.
Of course, we
up-
could ask Matt if he read anything.
Yeah, did you read anything, Matt?
Let's see. I did.
Oh, there you go.
Um,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
yeah,
maybe?
so no. I've been trying to keep up with all the Star Wars comics on the Marvel Unlimited app,
Oh.
Oh, wow.
and
You'd think with all this
And,
digital technology, we
let's
could
see.
just pull that up for it here. But
that's. I mean, honestly, I just love that series. I think what they've done with the creators they put on it, I think, are just fantastic. The whole storyline is really interesting.
so instead
I've also
we'll
been
just
reading
put
all
a
the
can
spin-offs,
here
so,
while we're
like,
talking.
Like
I-
Darth Vader. The Darth Vader book is awesome.
Yeah.
You like the Darth Vader book? Because I like the Star Wars book better than the Darth Vader book. The Darth Vader book felt very talky to me.
I really. Sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
I actually, so if you get past the first couple of issues of the Darth Vader book, I think it gets really good.
Okay.
Is that the one that has Dr. Afra in it?
Yeah.
Oh, does
In
it
the
really?
beginning, yeah,
Yeah.
you have to get past the Dr. After shit.
Because
But-
she's
Oh,
not
really?
very good, right?
You don't? Oh, okay. That's
But
disappointing.
the evil C-3PO and R2-D2 are awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, they're
pretty
totally
cool.
awesome.
Yeah. Whatever their names are, I love those guys.
Zach and I play a board game where we have those characters in
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
They're
Pretty
really cool in the book.
Yeah. They're kind of dark.
Well, yeah.
Yes. Well, so the Darth Vader stuff, he starts to go after some remaining Jedi, and it actually tells the story of like Darth Vader getting his like real red lightsaber, and so there's I think some actual like good actually there's what it is the second half of the series so far really starts to explore I think things about Darth Vader that nothing's really ever talked about before,
Are you?
and some of his powers, which are also not really explored much.
Are you talking about, because they ran it for like 24 issues and then rebooted it and started it up again, correct?
Yeah, I'm talking about the reboot. So the second, kind of the second run, essentially.
So the new stuff then, the stuff that's coming
That's
out right now.
Yes.
Okay. I haven't read any of that. I've read the first series. Don't think I've read any of the reboot stuff.
Well, I liked reboot better.
Okay.
That's the point.
Gotcha.
Well, I'll have to get to that stuff because it sounds like it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Is anybody else reading Paper Girls?
Yes, I actually have an issue here that I read.
Ooh.
Issue 22.
Oh, you're ahead of me.
Yeah, but I don't know what's going on in that book.
Who's the writer?
So you're reading it in
Brian
Brian
K.
K.
Vaughan.
Vaughan.
Oh.
So you're reading it in trades?
Yeah.
Does it work better in trades? Because reading in single issues, man, there's just so much going on in that book. I'm just so lost.
I don't know how you could possibly read that in single issues.
Right? Okay, so it's not just me.
It's not just you.
Okay.
Honestly, I almost need like 3 collected trades at a time.
Yeah. Because it's dense. Like, there's a lot going on.
It's very expansive. Yeah, but it also, there's not a lot of dialogue and there's not a lot of just writing in general. So it's very sparse. Even so, it's like this weird combination of like sparse writing and yet expansive storytelling.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to keep track of if you're not, like, honestly, before I read a new trade, I go back and I reread the last half of the previous one.
That seems like the way to go.
Yeah.
I think it's really good. I just need to read it all at once so I can grasp all the subtleties.
It's one of the most creative things I've read in a very long time.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I just feel like I'm missing a lot.
I am buying it. I've read some of it, but I'm way behind on it. So.
But if you like time travel stories, you really can't do much better than Paper Girls.
Yeah.
Really?
It's really good.
Being Brian K. Vaughan, I probably would like it.
Yeah, I'll get it to you.
That's good to get.
Is anybody else reading the Mark Waid Archie?
No.
Oh yeah, no, me either.
Are you still enjoying that? Because I know you were digging it because Joe Eisen was drawing it and Mark Waid was writing it.
I am. Yeah. Actually, the last one I felt dragged a bit, which is funny to say about Archie because it's like not really meant to do anything but sort of meander anyway. But
Right.
I felt like the first 3 trades, first 3 story arcs, kind of clipped right along. But yeah, no, I'm enjoying it. It's good. He's somehow managed to preserve the essence of the original Archie.
It looks cool.
Not ruin it when he rebooted it, and somehow reboot it and still make it feel like it's both current but also a throwback. He's threaded the needle perfectly, and I just really appreciate how he's done this delicate dance so perfectly well and is making the characters interesting to read. And, yeah, I was never an Archie fan, so like I have no reason to like this book, but I just stumbled onto it and I get a kick out of it.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Archie fan either. Like, I don't know. You know who Greg Smallwood is?
Yes.
Well, he's doing a new Archie book called Vampironica.
Okay.
It's like a vampire version of Veronica.
Yeah.
And a couple issues have come out. I really enjoy it because it's his art and he's writing it and it's just kind of entertaining. But when I was talking to him about it at a con, he was like, yeah, I just really love those Archie characters. I'm like, yeah, I don't really have a lot of affection for those characters. You know, some people are just have a nostalgia or just have a like of those characters, but I do not have that. Like, do you watch the Riverdale show?
I did watch the first season.
I have watched some of it, yes.
Okay, because I don't like that show.
It was okay.
But I just don't care for those characters, I guess. I mean, I remember reading some Archie comics when I was a kid because you'd find them in like quarter bins, and they were kind of like just. It's kind of like reading. It felt like reading like the comic, like Garfield comics. You know what I mean? It just felt very kind of light and not much substance, but you know, a nice distraction. But yeah, I don't know.
Is that book still going on, Matt? Archie?
I thought so.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought I saw something in the new previews where they're doing a new. I didn't see a solicitation for it. I didn't think, but they were.
They're always doing like spin-offs, like Archie's, where they're like in a band they came out with, and they were. I don't know. It's a very weird publishing strategy where seems very kind of spread out.
Isn't Boom the one that had to do a Kickstarter to publish their books?
No, Archie Comics.
Oh, Archie did. Okay.
But yeah, they were trying to do a Kickstarter to like hire better talent. Like they were going to get Fiona Staples to do some issues.
Yeah.
That's what they were doing.
Gotcha. Anyway, no, I mean, I read a few Archie comics too, kind of like Drew. I mean, I don't like. I'm exactly like Drew. I just don't have a nostalgia for the characters, but I mean that's cool. It's good that I know with Mark Waid on it. You know, it ought to be
solid.
It ought to be solid. You would think so.
He's a good writer.
So that's cool.
Oh, did you see that? Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, no, it was weird because I obviously didn't have any nostalgia for the characters either. In fact, I thought the whole concept was absurd, but it just worked. And I'm like, look, if you can win me over, you clearly have just done a good job. You know, there's no reason for me to like it.
Cool.
Anyway, you were saying, Drew?
Oh, did you see the news about Saga going on like a more than year hiatus?
No.
Whoa.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
No, that would require that I cared at all about Saga.
Oh my!
Do you
great
not
book.
care about Saga?
Ow.
I mean, have you read any of that?
I've tried multiple times to
Really?
go to that. I have, I think, the first 2 trades,
Huh.
and I just
Can't get
can't
into it.
stand it.
Huh.
Okay.
Wow.
It's crazy.
That's
But,
good.
Not only do I not only can I not get into it, I'm really I'm almost angry after I've read it.
Is it because everybody else likes it so much and you can't figure it out?
I think it's. Go ahead.
I don't know. I don't like the storyline. I don't like the characters. I don't like the world it's in. I don't like the tone. It's just like the whole fucking thing is just shit to me.
I think it's because you like Archie.
That could be. Anyway, in the latest issue of Saga, Brian K. Vaughan said that the book's gonna go on a year or longer hiatus because him and Fiona Staples need a break to like rejuvenate their creative juices.
I think it's smart. They should do that.
So those of us who want more Saga are kind of disappointed.
I'm
Here's
surprised
the
they
thing.
just didn't
I
end it.
really like both of those creators too. I like them both.
Well, he
And
said
so-
that he's only about halfway through the story, I think.
Really?
Well,
He
Jesus.
said.
I'm gonna have to just give up on buying single issues then, and then just wait like 2 years for the next big hardcover to come out. So I guess I'm on like a Saga 3-year hiatus. How about that?
Well, I am too, because I just buy those big monster hardcovers which collect like 20 issues.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I'm not talking trades. I'm talking the hardcovers.
Yeah, I hear you.
So well, I buy it single. I buy it monthly.
I understand. You just don't read it.
Bi-monthly. Yeah, I just don't read it.
Right.
That's the way to do it.
I'll show them.
I'll buy this and not read any of it.
I'm gonna give you a bunch of money, and I'm just gonna put it in a bag, and it'll sit on my floor in my basement for the next 6 years.
You show.
I know.
Show them.
Absolutely. Did you look through that?
I did. Buster Moody did a few pages.
Okay, so I picked up I don't normally buy this book.
What?
Yeah, I did.
You
I
used to
dropped
love
it.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles universe.
Yeah, but you used to buy everything Teenage
I
Mutant.
did. Well,
So
actually.
you still buy all the Spider-Man books, but you won't give the TMNT the love.
Right.
Wow.
So I
Traitor.
never got into the IDW reboot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think I bought like maybe the first 6 issues. So, but then I started hearing really good things about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle IDW universe. So when they came out with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle universe book, I'm like, oh, I'll jump on this. Plus, Freddie Williams was doing some of the artwork on the covers, which I think that's him.
Yeah.
So, but I got tired of it because it's like Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Well,
you know
it's
what I mean?
called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I know,
Universe.
I know.
I don't know what you expected.
I don't know either. This issue, I picked this one up just because Buster Moody.
It's $4.99. Is that the normal price?
Yeah, I think it is.
What?
Okay, so do you want to hear my story? How I ended
guess.
up with this book
Who's
and
Buster?
Charlie's Angel?
Okay.
Okay, so last Saturday, we were having a birthday party for everybody in my family, Drew and my dad and Christy and Zach. And I didn't forget anybody, did I? Anyway.
Your daughter.
Yeah, my daughter. Well, you guys did. I'm gonna see her, so I didn't. But anyway, whatever. So Zach wanted some Star Wars Destiny cards. And so Drew said, well, they might have them at, like, Wizards Asylum. Well...
And Hero Complex or Prairie Dog.
Right. But I was close to Wizards Asylum on Saturday. So I'm like, okay, I'll pop in there. I want to get that new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle book because Buster Moody's on it. So I go in, and I walk up to I go over and I see that they have that issue. So then I go up to the counter, I'm like, you guys sell Star Wars Destiny? And he's like, no, we don't sell that here. And I'm like, okay. I'm like,
just leaving money on the table.
Right, you're just leaving money on the table. I said, well, no.
You should have.
I actually gave them more money than I should have. So I asked them, I'm like, well, there's a comic book I want to pick up. I don't have any cash on me. I'm like, do you guys have a minimum on a card? And he's like, yeah, the minimum's $5. And I'm like, okay, great, because the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle book is $3.99. So now I have to go find another book so that I can get over the $5.
It's $4.99.
Yeah, I didn't read it. I assumed it was $3.99 because every comic book that comes out is $3.99.
Unless it's Amazing Spider-Man number 100.
Right, and this isn't. This is just number 24 of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Universe, so I assumed it was $3.99. So I'm scouring the rack looking for something else to pick up that I haven't already bought, and bam, Charlie's Angels number 1 is there. I'm like, oh look, it's Joe Eisman and John Layman. It's like, okay, well I have to buy something. Might as well buy that. So I grab my 2 books, go up to the counter, he rings it up, he's like, that'll be $9.26, and I'm like...
You went way over the $5 limit.
I'm like, wow, that's a lot of tax. And then I look down and I'm like, oh, the book's $4.99, the one I wanted. I could have just bought that one and saved $4 because I would have gone over the $5. But anyway, that's my story.
That's a good story.
I have no idea why that is $4.99.
That is an incredible yarn you just spun.
I know, right? And you know what? It even gets better.
Oh, it does.
Well, it gets worse, but it gets better. So, like...
I hope the second story arc is as powerful as the first.
I almost never have cash, like ever have cash.
Never.
But I had I had a $10 bill in my wallet.
Oh, she could
at the time, so I could have just paid cash for the $4.99 book, and not had to buy the other one. So it was like a double stab. It was like a double shot in the nuts.
If you had just done a Prairie Dog, you could have just bought some Destiny cards.
Yeah.
And then
bought that.
And
does Prairie Dog actually sell?
Okay, so
last time I was in there, they did.
Did they?
Okay.
Okay. So then, obviously, I go to the comic book store and I buy 2 comics, and it's $9.26.
This is why I don't buy comics at comic book stores.
Exactly. Like, I can't believe that those things still exist. Like, how?
So it's the guy who wanted to open one just less than a year ago.
Exactly. For people that have money, not people like me. I'm just like that. It blew my mind. I walked out of there with like 2 comic books, and it was almost $10. I was like, holy cow. I was like, that's insane. There's no way I could buy comics like I buy comics and go to a local store and buy them. It's just, there's no way.
There's no way.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. You may have to make some hard choices.
I would have to make some hard choices.
You may not be buying Ninja Turtles universe.
No, probably not. If I'm buying it at the
you
store,
mostly just bought it for like the 3 pages
I bought
that
it
Buster Moody did,
for
right?
the 3 pages that Buster
So
Moody
you
did.
basically paid like $1.50 a page.
Yeah.
I hope they were good.
They were good.
Okay.
They were worth $1.50 a page.
Awesome.
I have no regrets.
Regrets?
No,
Is
yeah.
that a word?
Not even one letter.
Alright, cool.
It's from a movie.
I think it's time for Scott to do something. I feel like he's out of the conversation.
Nobody got my joke.
And he's just playing on his
I got your
phone.
joke, John, but nobody can hear you.
Okay, thanks. One
I
guy.
thought it was great. No regrets.
No regrets.
Oh, did you finish Kill or Be Killed?
I finished Kill.
We
or
can all
Be
talk about it.
Killed.
Everybody can except Matt. Have you read Kill or Be Killed, Matt? Yes.
No.
Greatest crime comic being published.
You haven't read any of it?
But now it's over.
It's Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. It's like their new book.
Oh.
That's
that just ended.
That just
Yes.
ended. But I mean, it's awesome and it's a good book. You should get like the trade,
The trades.
or the hardcover or whatever.
I know you're not a big crime comic guy, but this is like really well written.
It's good.
It's like Kick-Ass, but better.
It's like Kick-Ass,
Okay.
but like more like not over the top stupid. Like
Yeah.
actually kind of down to earth. Really.
Well,
Did you? Oh, yeah. You didn't like it, did you? Did you
no,
like
I
the
loved
ending?
I loved Kill or Be Killed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I liked the ending. I thought it was really good. I just don't know if I'd say that it's
Not over the top.
not over the top. There's some
It's
cases.
kind
some
of grounded.
things, but it tries to be grounded. But
grounded.
there's some things I felt throughout this 20 issues that was a little over the top.
Well, Don kind of ruined this book because
No,
he
I
read
didn't.
it first,
I didn't remember.
and he's like, "Well, you're not gonna believe the twists and the turns in this issue." I'm like, "Really?
Really? And then I read it and I was
I was
like,
like, it's not that
there's no
twisty
twist
and
or
turny.
turns.
I mean, there's like a little twist at the end, and there's a couple little other
the
twists.
biggest twist was at the end of 19 where
He's dead.
our hero.
Well, yeah, but you don't know. And then this book kicks
What are
in.
you talking about? He told me that at the end of 19.
Yeah, but he's fucked in the head. You don't know.
So this
he
is
could be playing you the whole time, which he did in the last issue.
well, this
until
is
the
good.
end of it.
Matt's on the podcast. He's a literary guy. All right, so you understand the whole literary aspect of like the unreliable narrator.
Okay.
So this book like takes that to an extreme because the character is like mentally ill and he's having like delusions. So you have no idea, and he's the first person narrator, so he's narrating the whole thing. So you have no idea like if he's telling you the truth or what he's seen is real. It's just very like mess with your head. It's very cool.
Interesting. Okay.
Very well done.
Yep, I would agree.
So you liked it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I did too. I
That-
thought it was
it's
really well done.
Ed Brubaker, and he's got to really fuck up for me not to like it.
Well, he did do some cool like twists in this because like
I agree.
because at the end of the second penultimate issue, at the end of 19, this is issue 20, he gets shot and he says and then at the beginning of this one he says he's dead, right?
Yeah.
But then he says, well, how am I telling you the story? And then he says he recovers and does all this stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
right.
guess there's that.
That's
That
what I'm
is-
talking about.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah, I recovered. And then halfway through the issue, he's like, nope, really, I didn't.
Yeah,
I
no.
actually died right there.
No, I got
Yeah.
right there.
This is all just.
And I guess that was the thing, was the fact that that whole beginning part, I don't know, I just didn't believe it. Because the guy's so screwed up in the head anyway, type thing, that I was like, yeah,
No,
whatever. I'm expecting him to get over here to where he's dead. Yep, he's dead. So I didn't really find it
No,
much.
he
I was
got me.
of a twist.
I was going along with it.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
I was kind of going along too.
I was not.
And the end has a pretty cool twist too.
Yeah, but I
mean,
don't
but
know.
that was
if
kinda
was-
cheesy.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
It
I mean,
felt a little like-
it almost ended like a horror movie,
Yeah.
type of thing. So
The cycle continues.
that's right. So
So the premise of this book, have you heard about it all, Matt?
No.
Okay. So the premise of the book, there's this guy. He starts seeing this demon that starts appearing to him and says, every month you have to kill somebody or you're going to die, right? And he's delusional. He's on all these meds for like schizophrenia and, depression and all this stuff. So he's not even sure if it's true. So he doesn't kill anybody and he starts getting really sick, right? So he goes out, he finds like a scumbag criminal guy and he kills him. Well, then he feels better immediately, right? So then he's like convinced. But through the whole book, he's like, he just starts killing people like as a vigilante, Punisher type character. And then he starts to enjoy it, right?
well, he's almost got this kind of unbreakable thing going on where you can kind of sense bad people.
Yeah.
And so, because that's even what happens with the first one, in which it's kind of like, well, I remember this guy being a brother, of a friend of mine, and he really wasn't a very good guy then, and he kills this guy, and then comes to find out the next day that he, like, killed some guy of a freaking, child porno ring or something like this, And then he's like, oh, wow. And so then it just keeps escalating from there.
Yeah. It's pretty good. It's well done. Very good. I think it's going to be a movie, potentially. So, by the same guy who did John Wick, I think. So, could be good.
Wow.
They should get Venture to do it.
He didn't do John Wick.
Yeah, I know, but that would
Oh.
be cool. They should.
Fincher
get
could do a good
Fincher.
version of this. But it might be too much like stuff Fincher's already done. Like, it's kind of got like the whole Fight Club thing.
Yeah, I
going
know.
on
That's what I was thinking
with
of.
the multiple personality.
And
He would kill it, I
he
agree.
just posted that.
I just don't know if
so it's, like, fresh
I don't
in
know
my
if Fincher
head.
would be that interested in retreading similar things.
That's
all.
probably true. All right, what's next? Dun-dun-dun.
Dun, dun, dun. I read Outpost Zero, number
Why?
1.
Why would you read that?
Man.
Well, I read it because it's written
Do
by.
you just read the first issues of everything, and then this is what it seems like every time I come over. You just talk about a first issue of stuff. Do you ever read any of the rest of them?
I do.
Okay.
We just talked about Kill or Be Killed 20 in this.
Well,
series.
but that's because I read it now, and so you're piggybacking off of that. But It's
All right.
usually when it's just you. It's look, I read the first issue of something.
No,
Well,
he's-
to be
he's been
honest, it's
following
easier
that.
to talk about first issues because there's more to talk about.
He's been
Cool.
talking about that Sword and Scoundrel Scales book. or whatever
Yeah, I've been selling
for
that
like
book like nonstop. Nobody cares.
10 freaking issues. So.
Yeah.
All right, this is Outpost Zero, number 1. I bought it because it's written by Sean McKeever, who I really enjoy.
Okay.
He did a book called The Waiting Place, kind of like an indie slice of life type story that I really enjoyed. He's done some other stuff. He did that Sentinel book for Marvel, and anyway, he's a cool writer. He kind of stopped doing comics for a while and was writing for like video games and stuff because
Yeah.
it paid better. But now he's back doing a creator-owned book, Outpost Zero. So this concept is, it's basically they're on this outpost, like on this planet. It's a very harsh environment that they built like this. It's like they had a colony ship and it kind of built this sort of semi-society that they're kind of trying to keep going. And it kind of has like it's got a little bit of Divergent theme where like everybody has to like take aptitude tests and find out like what they're good at, and they get like assigned a job in the community because they need, I don't know, like they said, they're an enclosed community, and so they don't really have much of a future, but they're kind of hanging on. So it's kind of like about the theme of the book is there's these kids and they're like teenagers and they're kind of stuck in this place. Well, that's a fairly universal theme of like teen fiction, how like people are stuck in like a small town, they want to get out and they want to go out and do other stuff. Well, this kind of takes it to an extreme degree because they're like stuck in this place, but they really can't get out because they're stuck on this harsh planet where there's no spaceships to get off the planet. So they're kind of like stuck, and they're adolescent and they're kind of trying to find their way. But it's cool. I mean, it's like a science fiction thing. They're in this thing. In the first issue, there's like this big storm comes by that's like wrecking the place, and they're trying to like batten down the hatches because it's like a cosmic storm and on this harsh environment planet that they're in. And turns out they might have found like life because they've been searching, trying to find other signs of life on this harsh, desolate place.
Sounds kind of like if you took Harry Potter and
Yeah.
matched it with the dome and then threw in Black Hammer.
Yeah, like I said, it's got a lot of different like themes going on, but it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I think it's oversized. It felt really thick.
It was $4.99.
Oh, it's $4.99. There you go. Well, see, I don't pay attention to the price because I subscribe.
Yeah, I don't either. I just go in and buy what I
He
want.
just goes in and buys and
Just
goes,
go in and buy
wow.
what I want.
So I subscribe. So I basically pay for like 6 or 12 issues at a time. So I think I got a bargain on this because I don't think the price was that much.
Because I got the cash, man. I'm just like, hey, I don't care what this costs. I want it.
Okay. So anyway, that was my other number 1 that I
Is
read.
this the end?
Yes.
That is the end of I Hate Fairyland.
Son of a bitch. Can I borrow it?
It's Drew's. So
I know. I'm asking you. No, I haven't gotten it yet.
Okay, you can borrow it.
So that means I can't talk about that one either?
No,
Man.
you can't talk about that one either.
Jeez.
Not that one.
What the hell can I?
Are you reading I Hate Fairyland, Matt?
No. What is it?
I Hate Fairyland from Scotty Young. You should really read. I don't know. It's very funny. If you like kind of just
It's-
off the wall comedic type stuff and don't care about language or whatever, it's a lot of fun.
It's
What
funny.
kind of language does it use?
Actually, it doesn't use that bad language.
No, because it's always bleeping things
It's always
out.
bleeping
Yeah,
things
or
out.
whatever else. Or she can't really say. She can't cuss in Fairyland.
Okay, so basically the plot of Fairyland is there's this girl, and she was what, 8?
8 or
maybe?
something.
8 or something, and she gets sucked into an actual fairyland,
Like a Wizard of Oz.
like Wizard of Oz, but she has to go through like all these. She has to follow these quests to get this key or whatever, so that she can get out of Fairyland and go back to her life. Well,
She's really bad at it.
she's really bad at it, so she's been stuck there for like 40 years, but she's still like in the body of an 8-year-old girl living in this fairyland, and she's gotten very bitter about it. So she goes around and like just kills everything. Like she's the terror of Fairyland.
Lots of heavy drinking.
Like, yes,
Yeah.
drinking, smoking.
And she has this little
killing
Jiminy
things.
Cricket guy that's supposed to help her around through Fairyland. And by this time, he's all jaded and everything else because he's been having to take this pretty much serial killer all over Fairyland and, get her out of... And now he doesn't even care because she doesn't seem to lose any fight that she's in. So it's just like, oh, well, guess we're just going to go kill and maim, another total city again.
So, anyway, that's it in a nutshell.
But it's over too.
But
Yeah,
it's over
it just
too.
ended at number 20, which is the
Man.
one that I just read. And
20 is like the new number to just end books.
Right?
Matt's wishing they did it with Saga.
I know. He doesn't like that book.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't read it, so I can.
That's right.
Go as long as you want.
So I Hate Fairyland. It's a fairly satisfying conclusion.
Well, I pretty much figure I know where it's going.
I bet you don't.
Oh,
Well,
Big
maybe I
surprise. Big twist.
don't. Okay.
Nah.
It's just lying to me. 'Cause you're mad because I told you there was a big twist in Kill or Be Killed.
It's not gonna go the way you think.
I can
I don't
probably
know.
read it right now.
You probably
It's
could
not
because
very long,
it
5
is
minutes.
very, very quick.
Let me see it.
I don't know. There's a lot of words
There
though
are a
here
lot of
towards the. Oh, but then there's like nice big shots like this.
Double
Oh,
fix,
yeah.
You know.
That doesn't take long to read.
No, not at all. And then when I do finally get my copy, I can just put it in a bag, in a board, and
Well,
put it on the floor in my
and
basement.
here's the quick review
And I
of
wouldn't
it.
have to read
Essentially, it is, Gertie versus Dark Claudia,
Yeah.
and the big battle that happens there, and I bet you can't guess who wins. And then the big council of whatever the hell who gave her the slimy heart has to
Send her back
send her
home.
back. So
Right.
It happens that way.
She beats Dark
So-
Claudia, and then she goes back home.
Yes, and then
And
you're gonna
her
find
parents-
out what is going on back home.
And her
essentially.
parents feed her giant stacks of pancakes.
Nope. You're wrong.
No, not really there. That's where you go wrong. That's where the giant twist is.
I haven't
But
read that either.
other than that, that's really that, and it's good. But it probably did outlast its welcome and or whatever else. And
Oh no, he could have gone on this
He could've
another
gone forever.
100 issues, and I would have bought it.
I would have too.
You
Well, I didn't buy any of them. I would have kept reading them.
I'll keep reading them.
That's right. Well. What's next?
I'm pretty much done.
5-man something whatever midget
Oh.
death squad.
Okay, so this is another funny story.
Oh my god!
really.
You gonna tell me how you bought this one too?
Well, no, I didn't buy this one. I borrowed this one. So Kim Cotterill went to SalinaCon, and Nick
On my birthday, he could have come to my birthday party.
and Nick Forrestal, I guess, wrote this book, and so he had to buy it just for the name. 5-Man Midget Death Squad.
Well, that's one way to sell your book.
Right. Well, no, I mean Kim
It's
wanted
got a
it
cool looking cover
because-
though.
Yeah, that's about all that's cool about it.
No.
I'm not. I don't like to. So anyway, he told me the name of the book, and I'm like, oh, I have to see this. This sounds cool. And he's like, okay. So he let me borrow it, and when he gave it to me, he's like, you need to read this and tell me if you understand it, because he's like, I don't understand anything that happened in this, or I don't understand the ending or something. He's like, I even had my wife read it, and she couldn't figure out what was going on. So basically, there's this 5-man team, which there's two.
Are they midgets?
There's 2 chicks on it. They're actually dwarves.
Oh, well, dwarves are midgets.
Yeah. So
Oh
they're
wait, no, they're
dwarves.
technically different, aren't they?
So
Little
there's-
people.
They're sitting around.
What's the
and
difference between a dwarf and a midget?
I don't know. A dwarf is not.
Hair.
I'm talking like a dwarf from like Lord of the Rings dwarf, not like a dwarf like a small person.
But there is a difference between a dwarf and a midget.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
Like
But
one
I
has
don't know
like the
what it is.
proportions of like, and the other one doesn't have the right.
You could probably Google it, but it's not really. I'm talking about a Lord of the Rings dwarf, not a human dwarf.
I understand. I can see the cover.
Okay.
He looks
So basically, this group of 5 people are sitting around, and this guy tells them that in this planet or this universe or whatever, they banished all the giants because giants are assholes. So they banished all the giants to like this one place, but now they need to go and kill the giants.
Of course it is.
So these 5 people, dwarfs, midgets, whatever, they go on this quest to kill the giants. But in the book, there's only one giant. But I thought they said there were more. But anyway, so they go to where the giants are supposed to be living, but they can't find them. So they each go out into the town, and they ask the local people. They're like, "Hey, where are the giants?" And somebody says, "Oh, you got to travel east." And somebody else says, "Oh, you got to travel east." And then one of the characters finds like this drunken Irish man who gibbers out some kind of gibberish. And so then they all come back together, and they're like,
gibbers out gibberish.
he gibbers out gibberish, And so the one's like, yeah, they told us to go east. Yeah, they told us to go east. And they're like, well, I ran into this Irish guy and I couldn't understand him because he was drunk. They're like, okay, we'll go east. So they go east and they find a giant. And so they have like sniper rifles and machine guns and cannons. So they're trying to kill this giant. Every time they shoot the giant, like he gets a wound, but it heals instantly. And so they can't figure out what's going on. And so finally, the one guy's like, oh, that drunk guy was right. So he finds a herd of goats. He machine guns down a herd of goats, rips open one of the goats, and a chicken comes out of the goat. The inside of the goat.
Chickens don't come from goats.
They do in this story.
That doesn't make any sense.
And so then he kills the chicken, and then they shoot the giant, and then the giant dies. And that's like the end of the story. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I go back, and you can kind of read the gibberish. The gibberish says something about you got to get the goat that has a chicken, and then you got to kill the egg. But it's not explained. It's not very well done, so it's a little confusing. But that's the story.
So you get an issue 2?
I don't know that there's an issue 2 because it sort of ends. I think it might just be a standalone issue.
Wow.
But
Maybe if you bought 10 copies, you'd do it too.
it didn't really live up to
the hype.
the hype of the name of the book. You get a killer name of a book like that,
You expect more.
you should have a little bit more. But anyway, I think I grasped the story mostly. I just don't understand what an egg inside a chicken inside a goat has to do with killing
Well,
a
thanks
giant.
for sharing that.
Yeah,
It was good.
absolutely.
Really appreciate
You guys
that.
should run out and get them.
I think so.
I mean, I would buy them up.
It does sound interesting.
Do you want to borrow it and read it?
Nope.
No.
How about you, Matt? You want me to mail it to you?
Please.
Okay.
Alright.
All right.
What else you got, Scott? You gonna talk about Gideon Falls?
Sure. Since I can't talk about Invincible.
Which one is that? I could leave and you guys could carry on the podcast.
It's probably late enough. Gideon
book
Falls
keeps
is
getting
number
better.
4.
Right?
Yeah, because this is the one that you kind of...
The crazy guy.
Did we talk about it already?
We did. This
Okay.
was like actually one in which Drew did talk about something that wasn't an issue 1.
The conspiracy theorist guy. right?
Yes,
Once
yes.
it's an issue.
Yeah. No, this is still really good because it is a conspiracy theory going on.
Yeah.
And yet again, it's kind of like Kill or Be Killed, though, where you have somebody that's totally insane that
Yeah.
seems to be the sanest person around.
But yet everything's
Yeah.
coming true.
Coming
The
true,
same
yes.
Crazy guy.
And what the hell was up going on with the person in the mirror on the other side or whatever?
Oh, wasn't that a cool sequence?
That is a very cool sequence, but
Andrea Sorrentino is like killing it on the art. You
Yeah,
should
I
be reading
think
this
so.
book, Matt. Gideon Falls?
Gideon Falls, there's this kind of crazy guy here yet again that's going around this city or town or something, and he's picking up just weird crap like bits of wood, nails, bent nails, and whatever else. And he has these visions of this big black barn. And it seems to be something that's like, you don't know what the black barn is. It's like a different dimension, whatever else. But along with that, there seems to be I want to say, fairly popular priest that was there that died. And so now a new priest has come in his place, and he's trying to kind of figure out what's going on in this town. And I think the priest has his own backstory there, too, as well. I think he's an alcoholic or something to that
he's got
effect.
some substance abuse issues.
He's definitely got something there.
But it's like a cross between Stephen King and David Lynch, I feel.
Really? I
Yeah.
could see that.
So, because the characters, it kind of feels like a Stephen King kind of town where weird stuff's going on, but then it's just a little off, a little too much off for a regular Stephen King story.
Yeah.
So it's kind of got some David Lynchian type stuff going
Yeah.
on.
It's still pretty good. And, you know, I read through all this. It reads through very quick.
Yeah.
And, you know, the problem is that it talks with everybody, but it's just over so quick. You know, there is this big, you know, type of thing, you know, especially that the psychiatrist seeing somebody, you know, through the mirror that looks like they're killing somebody or whatever the heck else.
Yeah.
But other than that, not a whole hell of a lot happened. You know,
It's a slow
either.
burn.
It is. It is.
Luckily, it's coming out pretty fast. Hopefully, they can keep up the pace.
Yeah. But you're right. Art is kick-ass, and overall, it's definitely got.
Yeah.
It's definitely intriguing.
Are you a Jeff Lemire fan, Matt? I can't remember.
Not as much as you guys. I know
Okay.
you're big fans.
Yeah, this is another Jeff Lemire book. He's kind of killing it for me lately. He's doing a lot of good stuff. that I like anyway. So
What else you got, Drew?
I'm done.
Matt, you got anything else?
No, I'm tapped out.
Really? So, did you like how Invincible ended?
Yeah, I actually, I was very satisfied. I thought
That's good.
there was a good payoff. I thought it was a difficult ending to pull off, and I thought, how else would he do it?
I really agree with you. I thought overall that he really wrapped it up pretty well and had a fairly satisfying ending overall, I thought. There's some...
I was also torn, because, like, I think that's the first book I've really read, like, end to end, consistently, collected for its entire run. It was kind of emotional when it finally came to an end.
I would agree. I felt like, though, I was really surprised how long of an epilogue type of thing that he had.
Yeah, it went on for quite a while.
It went on for a while. I was a little surprised there.
I kind of felt it needed that a little bit.
I could see that, and especially the fact that he wanted to end it on his own terms and not turn it over to anybody else and things like that.
Well, I kind of felt like, they weren't necessarily planning to end it here. Like, at one point he said he wanted to keep it going forever.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like, I think the epilogue was kind of like his way of saying, look, I could have kept these stories going for
and
10
here's
more
some ideas
years,
maybe that I had.
But here's all the ideas I kind of had, but I'll throw it all together in kind of epilogue, so I kind of feel like I still kind of...
Oh, yeah. Put it out there. So...
No,
I appreciated that, because I think had he not, there would have... It might have almost left it open-ended, like, oh, is it ever going to come back?
Oh, I agree. And it's not to say that he couldn't still do that, especially with... There's a lot of holes he could try to fill in, type things, but... overall, he kind of laid a nice outline of where he felt like it was all going to go for him.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I felt that the way he did it kept there from being like a bunch of unanswered questions or issues for the fans, and like, I haven't consistently collected anything. Like, there have been long periods, there's probably been a year at times where I haven't read anything except Invincible. So it's been the only constant for. Well, ever since Drew introduced me to it. Yeah. So I'm actually kind of pissed that it's over, because now I literally have no idea what to read. And it's just like...
Well, you're asking me for ideas. I can tell you what I'm reading, but a lot of the stuff I read is kind of dark, and you don't really like super
Read Morning Glories.
I thought Matt read that.
Matt was the one who got us into Morning Glories.
Oh, really? Okay.
He read like the first issue and was like, "This is really good." And we're like,
Cool.
I think he like even tweeted like Joe Eisman. Joe Eisman was like, "Oh, cool," and then we got him like on the podcast.
Yeah, we're like friends on Facebook now, Joe Eisman and I.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I'm friends with him too. He's friends with everyone. He's a friendly guy.
He's a friend slut.
Well, it was nice. We had him at AirCap, and then we had him as a guest at AirCap, and then I went to C2E2. I think it might not have been like that next March, but maybe the year after, and he was there, and me and Barbara walked up to him, and I mean, he recognized me right away, and we had a nice conversation, so he's a really nice guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Was he surprised they let you on a plane?
Pretty much. He didn't fly.
I drove.
He drove. Don drives.
Okay. Okay.
For some reason.
Well, because there were a bunch of people going, and I wasn't going to pay that much money.
Or make him buy their own plane ticket.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes.
Alright. Cool.
Nice. How's everything? Well, we can do that after.
Yep.
Alright. Well, I think we're done with the podcast. If anybody wants to add anything.
Nah.
Going once, going twice. Finish.
See ya.